Is it too late to make big life changes in your 40s and 50s? This is a question I've asked myself multiple times over the last decade. I'm turning 50 this year. And the answer is, of course, it's not too late. But the step that social media misses when they're telling us to go for it and carpe diem and all that is that there's some deep-seated fears that we have. That as we get older, we've been around the block a bit, we feel a bit beaten up, we're low on energy. We ask ourselves, yes, I want the outcome of doing this new thing, whether that's career, relationships, health and fitness related, or learning a new skill. But do I still have it in me, the energy and the guts and the mental strength to go again, possibly look stupid, and possibly fail miserably? What I want to do in this video is to help you work through 5 fears, 5 questions, I suppose, to ask yourself. Then that will give you a much clearer, better idea whether you should go for it, because you're certainly not too old, but you're never going to take action until you answer these 5 questions about you and your life. So this is more about failure being a bit more expensive now that we're older. Now you probably feel more people are watching, or maybe you have more to lose, you have less energy to bounce back. But if you think about it, stagnation, standing still and being grumpy also has a cost. It's just a little bit of a quieter one. Let's look at these 5 fears in your life that you need to address. Then you can decide whether you're ready to go again. The first question isn't really, is it too late? It's, do I really want this? Because a lot of people confuse genuine desire with just restlessness. Feeling stuck, career-wise, relationship, location-wise, doesn't always mean you need to make change. Sometimes it just means you need a break. If you're struggling to make this change, ask yourself, if someone told you this was guaranteed to work, there's 100% chance you will succeed if you make this change, would you still take it? Would you still go for it? Or would you still not be sure you wanted to do it? If it's the fear of failure that's holding you back, then go for it, because real desire like that in your 40s and 50s is a very strong signal that it's the right thing to do. If you're still not sure that you want to go for it, even if you're guaranteed to succeed, you might just need a rest rather than a completely new direction. Now, the second fear you need to overcome is the fear of looking a bit stupid. And this is a real barrier for people as we get older, nothing to do with a lack of time or energy. It's just about starting from zero again, feeling weak, slow and clueless if it's in the gym, or feeling like the new kid at school if you're moving industry or to a new company. Prospect of that creates an awful lot of fear, because by our age, we kind of think we're grown adults. We have all this stuff figured out. I know my shit. And so there's a tendency to run away from the prospect of looking a bit stupid. So the thing to remind yourself in these situations is no one's really watching you. Everyone's fairly self-absorbed, me and you included. They're looking after their own stuff. They're not watching intently every single step that you're making. And although the awkward beginner phase doesn't necessarily get easier as we get older, remind yourself it does still end. You will eventually know your shit again. Next, you need to ask yourself, am I too tired and beaten up to do this again? A completely legitimate question to ask yourself, because as we've gotten older, we are a little more beaten up, we are a little more low on energy, and life does genuinely seem a lot more demanding because we have so many plates that we're trying to keep spinning. So the step to take here is to be honest with yourself about what not making the decision, not making the change is going to involve. Staying where you are, whether that's body shape related, career-wise, relationships, or even where you live or what you do in your spare time. What would sticking where you are feel like, not just in 1 year, but in 10 or 15 years? How are you going to feel if you decide now to not make this change that you're contemplating? Because boredom and stagnation are exhausting in their own way. Maybe they don't necessarily announce themselves as loudly as the fear of looking stupid and starting something new, but there's a slow burn in the background. They're just tiring you out because it's a hard slog doing the same thing day in, day out, the things that are making you miserable. And that's why you need to understand that cost of not making the change. And a lot of people that choose to stand still and not make the change don't necessarily find the calm that they thought they would get from avoiding that fear of starting something new. Then next, we need to ask ourselves, am I making this a bigger thing than it needs to be? Is that what's causing the fear of making this change? Because remember, you don't need to bet the house on making a huge change that's a completely new direction for you. And this is a mistake a lot of people make. They think it's an all or nothing. They think binary. They think it's either move to a new country forever or stay where I am. It's complete body transformation or stay out of shape and grumpy. It's stay in this job I'm in or go back to college and learn how to be something completely different. Doesn't need to be that big a change. What can often help is to start making a change in a small way that shows you if it's the right direction. But if it doesn't work out, it's not catastrophic. For example, not deciding I'm going to become a fitness person, deciding I'm going to go to the gym for 4 weeks on a basic program. I'm going to see how it goes. Or it's starting a side project alongside your job for 6 months before deciding, do I even enjoy that? Is it bringing in as much money as I thought it would? Or even just committing to having conversations with people that have already made the change that you're contemplating to see how it went for them. What have they learned? What would they advise you to do? That way, you're not committing to climbing a big bloody mountain. You're just committing to take a few steps up the mountain to see how it goes. And having addressed those 4 fears already, the 5th and final one is going back to the start and saying to yourself, am I really done or can I go again? Now I understand more about how my brain works and my fears and what's involved in all of this. Am I ready to do something new? And to help with that, it's useful to picture how life will look and feel in 10 years if you do not make the big change that you're thinking of making. Think about how you're going to look and feel, people around you, what you do in your life, and just decide, would I be happy enough with that? And if you would be happy enough, that's fine. We don't always need to carpe every diem, if you know what I mean. Just because an idea pops into your head of a big change to make, you don't need to jump on it every time. Sometimes it's not the right thing to do. And part of that is thinking about how you're going to look and feel in 10, 15 years if you decide not to make the change you're thinking about. But when you picture how life is going to look and feel in the future, you don't make the change, if that fills you with sadness, fills you with dread of having to stay where you are in your life, that's obviously a very strong signal that you can go again, you should go again, you should carpe this diem. You need to remember the regret of trying and failing at something is something that we all get over eventually. The regret of sticking where you are and not even having the guts to try something tends to hang around a lot longer. Nobody can tell you if the change you're thinking of making in your life is something you definitely should do. That is for you to decide yourself. Ignore social media telling you what you should do. Ignore the pithy quotes that we see everywhere. There's those 5 questions you need to ask yourself, 5 fears that you need to address, and then you will have some clarity on whether this change is the right one for you to make right now. The age-related question, am I too old? Of course you're not too old. The real question is, am I too beaten up? Do I not have the energy anymore to go again, to possibly fail, to possibly look stupid? And please, if you're at one of these sort of forks in the road in your life right now, let me know in the comments what way you're leaning, what you're thinking about. Let's share some experiences, share a bit of knowledge, try and figure all of this out. But take care of yourself.